Hello, this is S. Marie Young, and we're having a conscious leadership conversation. And today I am with Verly Flores, who is Field Marketing Director for the Americas. And Verly identifies with type 6. Hello, Verly. Welcome.
Thank you, S. Marie. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here with me today.
My pleasure.
And let's kick it off with what do you identify with about type 6?
Um, I think my loyalty,
Ah,
uh, that is very strong. I see that in my day to day, and I see it in my career. Um, my desire to problem solve things, uh, definitely identify with that definitely in the way I lead my team and the projects that we're in, or even in my personal life. I want to come in and fix things.
yes,
And
sixes are known for being problem solvers and having this alertness about them that can identify or anticipate problems.
yeah, absolutely. And feel the need to, whenever I'm you know dealing with a project, my immediate go-to is like, okay, how are we going to solve this? And once I get that organized, strategize, I know exactly how to drive it. And if it's, chaotic, I feel the need to, okay, it's got to get cleaned up, or, the road ahead is way too many twists and turns, and it's a waste of time.
Yes, so taking out the uncertainty.
Taking out that uncertainty, because I don't like uncertainties. I don't feel like I'm grounded when things are uncertain. And there's a fear in me when things are ungrounded. It doesn't feel safe.
Yes, yes. And that's really the top concern with the type 6 being the center of the head, center of intelligence.
Mhm.
Fear is the primary emotion, and future projecting or catastrophizing can
Yeah,
happen if you're not grounded.
if I'm not grounded. And I think also the other thing is, my ability to read a room. Because when, not that, you're not that I have psychic abilities, but if I know how your behavior, your reaction,
Mm-hmm.
I adjust to that and not meet it head on. So
Ah,
so then I will work around that reaction that I'm picking up,
mm-hmm.
and adjust my influence or my approach or my direction to that, so that it's there's no friction, or I try to avoid that anyway.
Yes, yes, because that's what brings the anxiety up. And
Yeah.
and that's a real gift. This 6 is one of the balancing energies. So
Hmm.
can adjust rather than moving against or withdrawing.
Yeah,
You just make the adjustments that you need to make.
exactly. Yeah. um
You
and
brought up loyalty. I don't want
I
to interrupt you.
Yeah, yeah, no, I did. I think sometimes too, while my loyalty, even at times when I know that I need to drop it,
Mm-hmm.
um, if my loyalty to that person is steadfast, I will work and solve through it. So, and even in my career, I'm loyal to my team members,
Mm-hmm.
and I am loyal to my upper management, within reason, of course,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So the idea of a team is important to me. And because of that loyalty, I like to bring up team members with me.
Sixes are great at that, Verly. I'm glad you brought that up. The loyalty and the trust that you need to have in your team, they in turn show you that trust too because of your loyalty. And your sixes are real team players. They want
Yep.
everybody to thrive on the team. They don't want to be the star of the team, but a team player, even if they're the leader like you are.
Yeah. As Marie, through our coaching,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of it was realizing, developing my self-awareness and the kind of leader that I wanted to be and to leverage my strengths and, or even sometimes my challenges, be aware of those, right? So that I'm able to apply them in my own leadership style. And
Give us an example of that challenge, maybe that you have where you were able to use that to your advantage.
um, well, I think, the challenge is, I'm extra careful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That can be a
So
good thing
it could be
or
a
a
bad.
challenge.
Yeah. So, but because I'm extra careful, I'll use the example of when I'm hiring team members on, right? Before, I'm very vigilant when I'm looking who to bring on to the team, because when they come on, my loyalty is like, it's there, you get it, and
Yes.
that's an investment on my part. And because I give everybody the opportunity and the space to grow, um, you know, I I'm extra vigilant, making sure I'm careful about who it is I'm bringing in onto the team, because it's a commitment, it's an investment on my part. And also too, because of that, I am where I am and I do well and the team does well, not because of me, but collectively as a group.
Absolutely. And in large part because of your leadership. So sixes don't like to take credit for
Yeah,
that.
I have actually had to learn that many times, where I'm better now at receiving,
Mm-hmm.
those acknowledgments, those recognition, and saying, yes, that was me. Before it was like, yes, but this,
Always, yes, following it up with something else to deflect it.
yep.
And Verly, I just want to point out, I love the way you used vigilance as a strength. And it's a perfect example how vigilance is a strength to
Mm-hmm.
be aware of what's going on, awake, knowing the environment, knowing the room, knowing who's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets overused by the six getting in fear, then it becomes hyper vigilance.
It's hyper vigilant. Yes, there is that as well. Because again, right, the fear of not succeeding. So I'm overthinking and overanalyzing, and I'm extra careful, because the possibilities of the what if could go wrong. So there's a plan, not just a plan A, not just a plan B, that there's a C and D.
Oh,
And
yes, yes.
so so it's a double-edged sword with, my vigilance, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you catch yourself going down that road of going too far, you can rein it back in.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it
And
goes both ways.
and the sixes are great problem solvers and anticipating problems can be a gift and a liability.
Yeah.
What's your biggest growth edge, Burley?
I think my biggest growth edge is, uh, I think my self-awareness, which you have helped me to see, and how to deal with, just my anxiousness and the fear. and actually acknowledging that. And I think
And how
really
does it help to acknowledge it?
because it's okay, and that it is there, and I didn't know how to define it before, but
Mhm.
recognizing that as a result of a feeling or an action that I did, and that's okay, and I know that that could happen, and instead of it just unknown stress brought onto myself for not being able to explain it, I
Yes.
recognize that.
And in that recognition, what happens?
I'm able to handle it. I'm able to navigate around it.
And make a different choice
And
or
a different voice. Yeah.
use some of your practices to shift away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, I think my growth edge too, Esmery, is, learning to acknowledge those recognitions that and owning it.
Yes. Yes.
I shied away from owning it. I work really, really hard to make sure it's successful because there's no other way, right?
For
Um,
you as a six, there's no other
no
way. And
other
that
way.
brings up a good point of the responsibility
Yeah,
that you feel, the
that I feel.
responsibility for the success of your team and
Hmm.
for individual team members too.
Right.
And I know that weighs heavy on you
It
sometimes.
does. It really does. It really does. And I think, you know, part of it too is recognizing and hearing it from my team members how grateful they are for, whatever it is I've laid out, right? For their growth, for the support, for the encouragement, and even thank me for my leadership. Whereas, you know, I didn't I didn't think that was something I mean, I knew it was something I was putting in place, but not really acknowledging that.
It,
And
it must
yeah.
be nice to get the acknowledgement from others of what that means to them,
Oh
to have
yeah.
you as their leader in your particular leadership style.
Oh, 100%.
So
Oh yeah.
your team thrives.
It's great feedback to hear because I feel like I've contributed to their growth, which is also important to me.
Yes.
That I am helping, helping pave that, helping them, setting them up for their next stage in their career. And it's kind of like a legacy that I'd like to leave with them. Should they move ahead in their, in their career, their next phase in
And
the
that's a
organization.
beautiful commitment to make to people.
A heavy commitment, but I've been fortunate enough to come across those types of um, mentors in my life, and paying it forward to me, it's important.
Yes. And that's beautiful. And it just is a natural part of you. I can tell
Yeah,
you care deeply about your team, and your team rewards themselves and you for that. Your
yeah.
team thrives.
It's an exciting journey to be in. You
For
know,
all of you, for all of you.
yeah, because it's not
For
always rosy.
absolutely
There's
not.
challenges but at the end of the day, the core is this, and that's how they feel, and they're hanging in there with me, and that I appreciate.
And for a six, oftentimes anticipating the problems or the challenges are worse than actually dealing with the problems when they arise. The six is a great problem solvers, great at an emergency situation, because then all the anxiety goes away. It's just get it done.
It's just get it done. Yeah,
Do you
that's another.
relate to that?
Oh yeah, of course, right? You check off everything that needs to get done, and you can't see it, but you know that you've done this, and you know that the if you do X, Y, and Z, the result will be this. And at the end of the day, it all falls into place and everything works out. But only because I did X, Y, and Z. So
That's right. You ensure that it works out because you're very diligent, is another word to put it, responsible and diligent.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Verly, thank you so much for sharing this
Thank
and
you.
sharing
Appreciate the
yourself.
opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you being here. And this is Conscious Leadership Conversations with the Enneagram. Thank you.
Thank you.